Hi. You know, I've tried this, on and off throughout the day here, and of course that's why you see the weird glow now, because it's nighttime. Uh, but I just got thinking now, after, just thinking how much I love the Lord and how much I love my parents. And that's what I've been talking about as I've rehearsed this. So that just hit me, and I just thought I'd share that with you. At any rate, we've been asked in this assignment to show that this is applicable today and to mention how it applies from a biblical perspective. So I just want to share a couple of scriptures with you. And that number one is Matthew 18:6. Says, Jesus says, whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that believes in me, it's better that he have a stone around his neck and he thrown into the sea and drown. And then in Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, like me, he shall not depart from it. Well, isn't that neat? So that's what I want to tell you about tonight. There's one other thing, and I can't quote it word for word, but in Simon Porter and McDaniel, in Communication Between Cultures, they said that the family, to put it in my words, is the first line of defense. The first ones to teach the child. So it's really important. The background a child comes from and what they learn. So I was raised, religious-wise, I was raised Catholic. My father was German Jewish, and quite frankly, I'm very proud, even though we weren't practicing Jews. I'm very proud to have some kind of Jewish heritage in me. It's just kind of neat for me. First of all, I want to introduce you to my grandparents or great-grandparents. I can never quite remember. Let me turn this around here. My father, or my great-great-grandfather, was Burgermeister of Mannheim, where my father was born, and that's essentially the mayor of this town of Mannheim. This is his mother and father, or his mother rather, and this is him and his sister, who unfortunately I've never met his mother, or I don't recall it anyway. So he came from, like I say, from Germany, and one of the things that my father taught me was about he was always taught to be frugal with his money, so he tried to teach us about money, about finances, but something that's mentioned in the first chapter of the book that my mom taught us was about faith and religion. My mom, her Catholic religion was very important to her, and I think the fact that she taught us about God in later life, obviously, it let us, make our own decisions, but taught us about God. The fact that she did that, when God exposed me, or drew me rather, to Jesus, I was more receptive, I think, to the fact that God existed and that I could have a life through Jesus than if she hadn't taught me at all. So, and she taught me by her example, and that's something that's really important for parents or any adult nowadays, to remember that they teach children by example. And this right here, he'd kill me if he knew I was showing you this picture in his swimming trunks. This is my father, when he was, of course, much younger. And this beautiful lady is my mom. Now, these pictures in those days were taken in black and white. A lot of you probably don't even remember that. Only black and white. So, like I say, it's the thing that my parents have taught me is about values. They brought me up with values, and I just find that's really important. And then let me just show you another couple of pictures here. Sorry, I'm going the wrong direction here. This is another picture of my mom. I think that I'll get a little closer for you. This is a picture of my mom and dad on their honeymoon, and this is a picture I wanted to show you of this is my dad way over here. It's kind of hard to see, but before he was in the service. My father escaped Hitler, thank God, and came over to the United States and served with I believe it was the Army Air Force. All I can tell you is that my father left the service honorably discharged with 3 or 4 medals of honor. I'm really proud of my dad. We lost our father back in '91, and he's always been a source of encouragement to me. Even now I miss him when things are getting tough, especially. I like to talk to him or tell him I wish he was here. But he taught us, really taught us to stay strong, to be aggressive about what we wanted in life. My father told me at one point, shortly before he died, he sent me a postcard that said, "My son the nurse." Kind of has a nice ring to it. And that just, I never forget that, and as I get ready to apply to nursing school after I finish my prereqs, that's one of the things that I'm going to put in my letter of application is that of what he said. That just really meant a lot to me. My parents, another thing as far as culture, my parents were separated for a while. That probably wouldn't be easy for a lot of children, but for me, my father had a very active role in my life. Even I remember going over to an apartment that he had at one point when they were separated. We used to spend a lot of time playing cards or one thing with our mom, so we were never neglected. When my mom passed away at 43, I was 17 at the time, people told us, "Your mom sure raised good kids." So that's the culture I came from. My father's parents, and my father, and of course my mother's parents. My grandmother used to call me every day at the hospital when I was in the hospital. And first I used to kind of bug me because she'd be looking at old pictures of my mom, and you never, as a mom, you never expect your child to die before you did. And she'd get all teary-eyed, be crying. But you know, she taught me that it's okay to cry, even when you're older. I'm sorry, I'm getting teary-eyed on this. Even when you're older, she taught me that it's okay to have emotions. That really helps me now as I deal with my patients as a nursing assistant. Sometimes when they die, it hurts me a lot, but on the other hand, if I didn't have emotions, I couldn't be so good taking care of my patients. So my grandmother taught me emotions, my mother taught me emotions, and my mom taught me religion and faith. And my father taught me to be strong and taught me to pursue what I wanted out of life. So I just want to add with a couple things here. I came from a time that was a lot easier and things were a lot simpler. People spent time at home with and didn't call or text home and say they couldn't be there. We spent time around the dinner table, and we talked and we communicated. Life was a lot simpler there before progress came about. Anyway, that's a little bit about me, and thanks a lot.